Hello everyone, welcome to this second match of the third round of the Clash of the Clans. So, like the last match, it's played on Turing Vald, and once again, as always, 4,500 points to start with, and 5,500 points to reach in economy mode. So, in this second match, we've got, on the NATO side, we've got the TSP team, Tiga, Swift, Praslo, and on the PACT side, we've got the LVA1 team, represented by Delta, Crew2 and myself. So in terms of points spent, a bit more on the NATO side, but not a real difference. It's a bit less than 200 points. It's not that much of a difference. So in terms of deployment, we've got a big deployment on the right side for the NATO, and well, it's a bit the opposite for the PACT. A bit more on the left side, so on their right side. We've got a big hole over here with, but a deployment a bit more, on all the front line of the PACT zones. They are going for the entire map and maybe a bit hole over here, but it's only the deployment phase. We'll see how they will deploy later. They'll move. So in terms of units, it's as usual in these kinds of maps, we've got very few heavy tanks to start with. They are quite good on these maps, but you've got to be very careful. So players generally prefer to start with cheap units. So we've got commander and anti-air on the right side, supported by ATGMs, infantry in helicopters to go and capture probably forests or cities quite quickly. More anti-air over here, a lot of infantry and autocannons. Of course, autocannon is really the big advantage of the NATO side. So we've got 4 Marder 1s over here, supported by Patton Rise. So these are probably the biggest tanks right now deployed. Other autocannons with the AMX-10P, which transports probably Legion or Legion FAMAS. And Spartans with infantry inside of them. Of course, we see the usual Gazelle AH-1 with the Gazelle cannon to support, 1 Black Hawk probably to capture buildings in the middle of the map, a big army here with, these are the biggest tanks in the game, AMX-32. We've got, as usual, all the autocannons, Wiesels 1 MK-20, we've got mortars, American mortars, we've got Marders VTS-1s, infantry, 1 commander, of course. So quite a nice army over here. 1 big hole here, and another army here. Once again, recon helicopter with the autocannon helicopter, Patton tanks supported by anti-air, Spartans, recon units, and on this side we've got recon, a few transports and anti-air, and no commander over here to send onto hotel. On the other side we have a commander here that will probably go on hotel or Gulf. We've got flamethrower tanks, a lot of autocannon anti-air, which are quite good at stunning units, infantry, anti-air infantry, recon, quite a lot of recons on the left side over here. That's really something I like to do, is always spam recons over here to be sure that no units will come and go around us without our team knowing of it. In the middle we've got flamethrowers once again, anti-air. We've got quite a nice mix of tanks here. We've got T-55, T-72, T-62, BMP-2D with the Tunguska to support, and over here 1 commander, Zalos, Shilka, BMP-1, and over here the 1 big army here. A lot of infantry units, 12 infantry units in BTR 60 PA1s, 1 anti-air with the AKM, the OSA. And in terms of tanks, we've got a nice combination. We've got the precision tanks with AP7, with accuracy 7, sorry, but only 4 of AP. It's a cheap, precise tank. And the opposite, quite cheap, not very accurate, but with a high AP. So we've got these tanks who snipe the enemy tanks or vehicles, and these ones who snipe a bit less, but do a lot of damage when they hit, and do a lot of damage to the morale even if they don't hit. So here we go for this second game in the third round. I'll just remind you that one of the games hasn't been played because one of the team, they couldn't play the game due to, real life reasons. So of course, due to the rules, one of the team, I think it's LVA2, has been declared forfeit and went directly to the loser bracket. So instead of commenting, of course, 4 matches. I'll be commenting only 3 of them. Only 3 games have been played. So in terms of deployment, coming back to the game, we've got Alpha captured quite quickly by the PACT players. The distance is quite shorter over here, and they are sending directly reinforcements via the reinforcement area in Alpha. The Gazelles and the Pumas are coming in quickly, but unfortunately for the PACT players, infantry is already in the city, and these helicopters won't be able to deploy the infantry over there, which seems was the initial plan of the NATO players. In units coming in Delta, a big army coming into Charlie, and a nice offensive coming in also in Gulf. Hotel, just like Alpha, is controlled, well, Alpha not anymore, because of course the NATO commander is well, NATO commander and PACT commander are mutually cancelling their control of the sector. Over here, there is no NATO commander, so of course the PACT players control. It's a free control, basically, of the hotel sector. A little Gazelle cannon coming in here from on the left side, hopefully for the... well, luckily, sorry. Yeah, I know, somebody told me it's not hopefully, I have to say it's luckily. Duly noted. So, luckily, for the PACT players, recons have detected the Gazelle, so they'll be aware of its arrival quite soon. So hotel captured, Gulf captured, well, at least units sent in the Gulf forest here. The PACT player hasn't controlled the forest, it's a bit of a mistake over here, I must admit. A lot of flamethrower tanks, but they haven't arrived fast enough to counter these infantry units. In Charlie, we've got a nice offensive by the NATO players who seem to... They are willing to advance and take Charlie quite quickly. Model VTS-1, autocannon vehicles, paratroopers, Model VTS-1 over here, mortars, 2 AMX-32s supporting the light vehicles by sniping vehicles from afar, and of course 1 ATGM vehicle sniping also vehicles from afar. Very good ATGM vehicle, the Bradley. It's quite a nice tank destroyer unit with the ATGM. On the right side, we've got a big offensive over here. Delta is controlled by the NATO players. A bit of a PACT offensive here, but with a little results. And over here, PACT offensive with better results. Infantry coming in, killing the ATGM units. Infantry trying to go all the way around. That's why I like putting recons over here. I think these guys aren't seen by the PACT, by the NATO players, so they're going to be able to go all the way around. Nice offensive here, combination of, like I told you, precise but low AP tanks and high AP tanks, so it's quite a nice combination with quite a lot of tanks. So for now, it's quite a nice position. The PACT players are for now able to charge into Alpha with a nice combination of units. Model ones coming in, but they'll be in a bad position if they can't close into the onto the PACT tanks. Charlie still contested by both teams, and meanwhile the MLRS are shooting. So yeah, I didn't tell you. In terms of support of artillery, we've got 2 MLRS units, as you can see right here. They are shooting. The Tunguska is just pulling back, and he seems to be able to get out of the firing zone. Sorry. So, sorry, 2 MLRS units for the NATO players, and 4 mortars over here. The heavy mortars with 4 HE, and on the PACT side we haven't got a single support artillery unit, which is something we rarely see, to be honest. So the flamethrower tanks, who took care of a few units, they are coming in and they will try to take care of the last survivors over here. Gulf Forest is in the hands of the NATO players, but for now it doesn't bring them much of a strategic advantage. Yes, they are controlling the forest, but they aren't controlling either Foxtrot or Gulf with the commander, so in terms of goal for the match, it isn't bringing them that much. Delta, on the other hand, is controlled by a commander and heavily controlled by units, so that is a good point. Alpha, unfortunately, is being submerged right now by the PACT tanks. Some infantry units have been sent in, and we will be able probably to defend the forest. But the problem is the commander isn't in the forest, it's over here. If the PACT player is smart enough to go around this forest, he'll be able to put a lot of pressure on the commander, and it seems that he is going to do that. Infantry is coming in from the right. T-72s are coming in, are probably going to kill the Patton over here. And the Patton is in a pretty bad shape, 2 HPs left. And over here the T-55s and Selkares are coming in. 4 hits on the Fusiliers, they lose a lot of squad members. And it's a bad position here for NATO. NATO, who is sending in support with autocannon units. Here the situation is going in the other way. The T-55s are in a bad position. They are losing a lot of HPs to these autocannon units for now. Going in on the left side, a bit of infantry squads coming in. They may do a bit of damage here if the PACT player is unaware of their presence. For now, he's got quite a good defense, but we'll see how this turns out. A few units come in over here with patterns, recon, and more patterns. The offensive is starting on the left side. In the middle, still the NATO players who are charging in Charlie, they are taking the upper hand right now. They've got a few tanks left, AMX-32 over here and here, autocannon units, light vehicles with the Marder VTS-1s, infantry squads, anti-air, autocannon with the VZLs. Sorry, so they are in quite a good position in Charlie. The PACT players have very little troops to defend the sector. Hopefully they are sending in, luckily they are sending in reinforcements on the left over here. So Alpha being lost by the NATO players. The commander is pulling back a bit here. The menace is, well, coming in quite quickly. The Marders and IMX-10P are coming up the hill trying to take out the units. Unfortunately, only the anti-air is here. The tanks aren't here, and the tanks will be able to take down these autocannon vehicles pretty quickly. And here we go, one AMX-10P is killed, the 2 Marders are in a bad position here. They are panicked, one is killed and the other is going to go down pretty quickly. Motoskalki are coming in, very few defenses right now. We've got tanks, anti-air, but very few infantry to defend, and the commander, in order to avoid a stupid loss, is pulling back. Unfortunately for him, a new offensive on Delta is taking place. A lot of infantry units have come in. Delta has been lost by the NATO players. These alloys are coming in, and the commander is in a bad position. And no, he doesn't go down. He is just worried for now, but he will eventually be killed. Infantry units coming in from the right, tanks from behind, Zaros from the left. It's gonna be a very bad position. The only thing that could save the commander here is the Gazelle cannons. Unfortunately, a bit of anti-air is coming in here. And here we go, the commander is killed. Second commander killed over here. I think it's this one. Maybe not. Well, 2 sectors lost. Alpha, Delta lost, and Alpha conceded to the PACT players. So in terms of map control, we've got a huge income advantage for the PACT players. Only Foxtrot, I think, yeah, here we go, 1 commander here, and Bravo will be controlled by the NATO players in a matter of seconds, but the PACT players control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sectors, going up to 14 points against 6. It's a big PACT advantage. In terms of points collected, PACT also has a nice advantage, and well, for now PACT is controlling the game. Still, this big NATO force on Gulf and on Charlie, we've got a big, well, not a big, a small regroupment of units over here, but it looks like the NATO players have some sort of advantage, and if they push, they may be able to take control of the sector Charlie. T-55 is coming in once again on the right side. The Marder trying to defend, but is killed at this medium range, if I can say. The T-55, of course, and especially at 3 versus 1, are of course in no danger. Infantry units who have gone all the way around have disembarked at the reinforcement line. Well, the reinforcement line, the only reinforcement line of the NATO forces, is disrupted by the presence of 4 and 7 Motostrelki squads, it's going to be very, very hard for NATO players to call in reinforcements. They are sending in infantry squads, autocannon units probably to counterattack over here. Over here, the last Fusiliers are being taken care of by the Motoselki, and the tanks and the Zalos are taking care of the Parajopos, Saracen and Patons for now. There's a couple of units still in the forest in Alpha, but not a real threat for the PACT players. The units in the forest in Gulf have left their position and are charging into Charlie. Charlie is in a bad position here. The units leaving Gulf are circling the PACT position, and the T-62s are in a bad position. They have enemy units on the right, on the left and behind. AMX-32s sniping from afar, VSLs coming in at short range, Patterns coming in from the left. The T-62s are only 3 left and in a bad shape. The PACT players will probably lose Charlie. Here we go. The PACT players have detected the Spartans, who are trying to go all the way around, and the BRDM2U, of course, to save his ass, is running away. We've got a few BMP-1Ps and a Tukoska here. Helicopters coming to stop these Spartans. And to reinforce, we've got T-80s coming in. We've got one T-80 and a second one here. T-80s are called in to try to defend and hopefully counter-attack. Well, hopefully, depending on who you're supporting, of course. But from my point of view, hopefully. Well, of course, I know how it ends, but just try to keep a bit the surprise. So on this side, a bit of harassment, offensive here. A few transports have passed. Infantry squads have taken position in the forest here, but will probably get killed by the Fensparers over here. All in all, the PACT players aren't really bothered on this sector. They are just harassing a bit, but no real need to do so actually, since the NATO are giving them more or less freely the sector. Over here, the PACT commander has pulled back. The T-80s are coming in, one here, one here. T-55s are coming in also, one is on the right. But for now, the NATO offensive is pretty much doing a lot of harm to the PACT players. We've got very few defensive units, we've got Patterns coming in on the left, anti-air, we've got autocannon vehicles, we've got heavy tanks with the AMX-32, one here, one a bit defensive, in a defensive position here to make sure they are capable to have units in reserve. But the T-80s are arriving, and they will probably be able to counterattack the BMP-2. They kill the Patton, and the other one is face to face with a T-80 and the MLRS units, who smash, well, nowhere. The commander has moved, well, a lot since. Has pulled back all the way into India. So the T-80 is coming in to push back the NATO players, and that's working pretty well right now. There is not much the NATO players can send in to counter the T-80. They have an AMX-32, but it's quite different. It's 9 AP against 8 armor, so it kills 2 HPs by hits, and 9 AP against 5 armor, so it's 5 HPs per hit. So the T-80 kills the AMX-32 in 2 hits, while the AMX-32 kills the T-80 in 5 hits. For those who don't know, it's just AP plus 1 minus the armor gives you the amount of HP lost. So the T-80s have come in, have pushed back the NATO troops that were here, and the T-55s are coming in, and the counter-attack will be able to be organized by the PACT players. We've got T-55s on the right, we've got Zalos and anti-air on the left, and well, for now the NATO players are totally controlling Charlie, but a counter-attack is being organized right now. On the left side, well, still Mochusen are coming back to control the forest over here. Gulf is totally empty since the units have been sent into Charlie. And on Alpha, well, the Motostrelki have been pushed back from Bravo, but Alpha being secured, of course, a lot of reinforcements are coming in pretty quickly, and the PACT player is once again on the offensive, even if he's got a few well, dying tanks. PACT players once again on the offensive and putting a lot of pressure on the Bravo sector, which is, if you look correctly, the last sector that allows reinforcements for the NATO team. So NATO with 12 points every 4 seconds, PACT 14, sorry. NATO, even with the capture of the middle sector, are still behind. And here we go, the big offensive, counter-offensive, of the PACT players. T-55s sent in first to take the first hit. TAT is pushing, is supporting them. Zelos coming in from the left, and one AMX-32 right here. The TAT just stops here, doesn't want to engage right now, doesn't want to be lost stupidly. The Zelos are coming in. Well, in fact, it's the TAT. We knew the pattern was here, so we didn't want to engage the 32 and have the pattern on the flank. So we sent in the Zelos first to take care of the 32, and then the TAT can come in and engage the pattern in face-to-face. And of course, in a face-to-face, the pattern is going to get pretty much annihilated. Here we go. And then the MX-32 left behind is engaging in a duel with the the TAT. One hit, 5 HP lost. One hit, 2 HP lost. And calm versus calm. Worried for now. One more hit. 2 hits, and the MX-32 is killed. So the TATs have done their jobs. They have pushed back the enemy offensive. The T-55 made a nice screen allowing the TATs to move up. The Zeros did the same thing over here. And the counter-offensive is going quite well. Yes, the Zeros are getting killed, but they are cleaning up the sector. The Bradley is the big menace right now for the heavy tanks. It's going to be pretty hard, and the Zeros are moving quite as quickly as they can to get to hide from the Bradley and try to engage him at a short distance. T-55s and Zeros coming in once again from the right side. BMP 685 coming in over here. The VTS-1 is in a bad position. Wow, nice hit from the Zeros on the Roland 2 over here. And the TATs, one is in a bad position and the other is coming in to attack once again. Charlie lost by the PACT NATO players. Why? Well, the PACT are charging on Bravo, and a few units are going directly on Charlie, obliging the commander that was positioned over here to to move and to go back more in the middle of the sector. The TAT here lost, killed by the Bradley. Nice shot. He was probably pulling back and took the hit. That's pretty bad loss, pretty big loss by the PACT players. So on the left, still nothing on the left front. Not much units over here. A few troops that move in, but well, not significant. All the action is taking place on Bravo and Charlie. The counter-offensive from the PACT players is going on pretty well. Zeros are moving in. BMP 685 also. So for now, well, the PACT players are counter-attacking pretty well, and the commander is coming back slowly but surely to recapture the sector that is right now in the hands of the NATO players. So the offensive is continuing over here. A lot of units sent in the Bravo sector. I'll speed up things quite a little. Units sent in over here. Offensive here pushed back by a few helicopters. Unfortunately, the anti-air was out of ammo, and the T-813 just was routing. Was something quite rare to see, actually. And coming back in the middle of the map, we've got the Zeros being shelled by the artillery, well, the mortars, sorry. Once again, the MLR is shooting, but with no corrected shot. It's well, it would require a very lucky hit to kill the commander, and the commander is even moving back. So well, yeah, no rocket actually hit the area of the BRDM, so no real problem over here. A few units over here sent in, but no menace for now. Charlie is still in the hands of the NATO players right now, contested by the PACT units. And well, the PACT counter-offensive that has been stopped, so they have very few units left once again. One Zalo, one BMP, one T-80 and one T-55. Well, luckily for the PACT players, NATO also has very few troops left. They are sending more patterns, but other than that, they've got one ATGM vehicle over here. The rest is pretty much, well, also cannon and infantry transports. If they can't close in to the enemy units, close onto the enemy units, it's going to be pretty hard. T-80 right now defending on his own with, well, nearly on his own, and he is probably, well, let's see what he's going to do. Over here, coming back onto Bravo, the commander of Bravo is pulling back onto Echo once more. The PACT players have disrupted the reinforcement line, so in order to call in reinforcements without having to fight all these units, we've got a lot of Motostrelki and Mochuzen. Well, in order to call in reinforcements safely, the PACT NATO players have pulled back into Echo. So it's quite a bad position for PACT here. For NATO, sorry, they are totally encircled, and well, they have lost Bravo, so it's a bad position. The MLRS moving forward and shooting once more on the area. The BLDM is pulling back. Menace is coming in. And the NATO players who are once again counter-attacking. With less units than the first time, but less units on the PACT side are there to defend. So, yeah, one more commander sent in to capture Bravo. That will be a total, well, nearly entanglement by the PACT players. Charlie will be attacked from all sides. A pretty bad position there. T-80 pulling back, trying to survive, trying to avoid the autocannons from the AMX-10P. Patterns coming in, paratroopers charging in the middle, Motostrelki trying to defend, but very few of them are left. Tanks sent in to reinforce T-62, T-55, Zalo and BMP-1D. Very, very nice vehicle with its grenade launcher that allows to stun a lot of units and kill infantry quite quickly, actually. Especially it has autocannon and the main gun for only 25, it's quite nice. So back on Charlie, we've got the NATO players who have once again taken control of the sector, but the control of the right side of the map allows the PACT players to send in units from the right side and later on probably from behind. Tanks have arrived and will be able to counter-attack. T-62 coming in, shooting at the MX-10P. The commander in Charlie seems to be moving. Yeah, he is moving. He is under the pressure of well, one transport, not really a big menace, but there are no defensive units. Hopefully the M151A2 ITO is here to kill the transport. T-62 is engaged in a firefight with the Patterns and the Jeep. The T-80 has moved up to fire a few shots. The BMP-1Ds are here, totally kill the Legion. The MX-10P comes in, but the T-80 destroys it in a single shot. So here we go, once again the T-55s charge in to try to take out the Patterns, and the BMP and the T-80 won't, here are following the move and will try to clean this entire area in Charlie sector. Back here, Bravo has been controlled by the PACT players who have called in artillery also, and are, well, this is a very bad position. Units are sent in over here to prepare once more an attack from behind on this sector. A lot of ATGM units are here to stop the PACT offensive, but, well, unfortunately the PACT offensive has, well, obtained his objective. They are in control of Bravo, and the NATO players are in a bad position. They've got only one reinforcement area left. Yes, they control the center of the map. They've got 10, 14, 16 points, but the PACT players have 8, 10, 13, 15, 17, 20 points, 22, 16, and they are in a, well, not really, it's quite balanced in terms of points, but 20 points to 16, and the NATO players are in a bad position. The commander is under pressure once more. The NATO players have less and less troops in Charlie. The PACT players will be able to counter-attack and retake the Charlie sector. And once the commander arrives, well, it will be not more, it won't be 20 to 16, but 20 to 10 points. Echo lost by the NATO players. The commander is pulling back. The infantry units are coming in trying to kill the commander. Unfortunately, well, helicopters and legionnaires are there to secure and protect the commander. Infantry units coming in from behind once again to take I'm gonna make it to oh man, I forgot the word. To disrupt the enemy reinforcement line. Hotel still controlled by the PACT players. Little offensive here by the PACT players. Infantry coming in. They now are able to attack all these sectors from every direction. Infantry coming in over here, and the paratroopers are, well, simply overwhelmed. The commander is pulling back. He's got no solution. BTRs coming in over here, trying to intercept the commander. Will they manage it? We will see that. The commander seems to have seen the BTRs and is going away in the opposite direction. Over here, a few Spartans are left, but the BMP-1 and the Selkares will manage to kill them easily. The NATO force is, well, shrinking pretty fast. They have no tanks left apart from 2 patterns. The mortars are getting killed. The commander will be able to come back and recapture Charlie. It's pretty much finished at this point. The commander has managed to get out of this situation. And when commander sent in, I think there was a bit of a misunderstanding here between 2 players. Oh well. Big helicopter spam to try to, well, rebalance the game. It's like a last chance, last resort strategy. Just send in helicopters, just mass helicopters, hoping the PACT players didn't protect their commanders. Unfortunately, they are protected. Tunguska, Selkares, Bug, Tunguska, Selkares over here. 1,200 points against 250 points. One more MLRS shooting, doing a lot of damage to the Bug. But unfortunately, the PACT players totally control the map. The NATO players are totally, well, pushed into their corner, and the NATO players surrender. So 1,000 points to 280, 32 minutes of game. We've got, in terms of command points, a big advantage for the PACT players, who have managed to do a better map control. In terms of kills, well, we can't really compare, since the 19,000 we have to count in them all the units lost when the NATO players surrendered, so I think it was pretty much balanced. I don't think I'm mistaken if I say that I was probably like 6,000 versus 6,000. Maybe a bit more for the PACT players, but not even sure. But all in all, quite a balanced match. A bit more of map control for the PACT players, which allowed them to win the game, basically. So that's it for the second match in the 3rd round. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it, and see you next time.